So today in the garage we got a couple of things that we want to accomplish. Should be pretty quick. The first is to install these new shifter paddles, and the second thing is to install some new LED lighting on the interior and on the taillights. Let's get to work. So the very first thing that we have to do today is disconnect our battery, because the shifter paddles we're installing actually reside behind the steering wheel. And if you're going to mess with the steering wheel ever in your car, and your car has an airbag, you have to disconnect this, wait 15 minutes, and then you could start unplugging things, because the last thing you want is to detonate an airbag while working on your steering wheel. So the steering wheel's got to come off, so we got to disconnect the negative terminal and wait 15 minutes and then get to work. Now while we wait for the battery to discharge, I just wanted to show you the paddles as they are now. They're kind of beat up. This car has high miles, and this kind of a vehicle, the paddle shifters see a lot of work, and you can clearly see that they're pretty worn. And also, they don't stick up all that much. When you look at them back here, they don't stick up all that much over the top of the steering wheel. So if you're all rotated, you don't really have access, because they're not on the wheel itself. They're actually on the steering column. They're attached to the steering column right there. So if you're turning at all, you actually then don't have access to your paddles when they're up here. But our new ones are going to be significantly longer. They should stick up to about there, and then give us a lot more flexibility when it comes to shifting. Now, to get this wheel off, there are two bolts that are underneath. There's one on this side and one on this side. Then the airbag can slide out, we can disconnect it, and then there's just one large bolt that we're going to probably need an impact wrench to get off. Disconnect a couple of wires, and then the steering wheel should pull right off. We've got our two screws out, one here and then one here. This unit should now slide out. Here we go. There are a couple of clips on the back for wiring that we're going to need to disconnect, and then the airbag unit is free. Now all we have to do is remove this clip and this bolt, and the whole steering wheel should come off. Everything's unplugged and ready to go. Now we just use our impact wrench and dislodge this bolt. Good to go. Now with our paddles more exposed, you could really kind of see how grimy they are just from age and use, and that's completely normal. But let's take a look at the size comparison again. So here this is the new upshift versus the existing upshift, and see, it's going to give us a lot more space to grip onto. So I think this is going to be a really nice upgrade. So in order to get to these, there are bolts behind here, and then this clips off, these clip off, and then these plastic pieces come off, and then we can unbolt the paddles. So we've got all of our paddles off here. We have the old ones and then the replacements, but you can see that there are some electronic connections that still need to be made here. So this portion actually needs to be taken off and transferred to the new paddle. So we're going to get that done right now. It should be pretty easy. I think you have to remove this pin and then a screw, and that really, I think, is it. Success. We have transferred our electronics over. Time to reinstall. New paddles are in. Trim pieces are fixed back in place. This one has a very metallic-y sound. I'm not sure why, whereas this one is much more the way I'd prefer it. I actually lubed these using GPL 205 grade 0, which is the same lubricant that I use when building keyboards. There's a hinge pin inside, and automotive grease wasn't doing it, so I used GPL 205, and way smoother now. So, almost done. She's all back together. Hopefully it works. Everything looks good. That warning is just door open. Here we are. This one still has the metallic-y ping, which I don't love. Yeah. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. I actually was going to do some interior lighting as well, but it's actually getting kind of late. This took longer than I anticipated. And for the next video, we're going to install some new LED lights in the interior and the tail lights as well. But these paddles are in. I'm going to go take this for a test drive, and hopefully I didn't mess things up too badly. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time.